London, 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 London.
Hello, Bloop fam. Welcome to the Urban Soundscapes radio show with me, your host, Redfreya. I'm here in the studio today with a very special guest with me, Danny Howells. So in a minute, we'll be getting into a short chat with him and then some music for the next hour. Stay locked.
Daily shows, 24/7 electronic music. Welcome to Boot London.
So, as mentioned, I'm here in the studio with Danny Howells. Hi, Danny.
Hi, yeah, how are you?
Very, very good. Very happy to have you here with us today.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, so I expect quite a lot of listeners of the show would know who you are, but I love to start out the first question I ask all my guests to just introduce yourself, like who are you as Danny Howells, and also like a little bit about your sound, how you see yourself.
Well, I don't know what to start really. I mean, been DJing since early 90s. I started off in Hastings, my hometown. Sort of got my sort of early experiences in local clubs, and then hooked up with John Digweed at his bedrock parties in around '92, and sort of stayed with him. Still friends and still, work regularly together. But that was like my first big break. And then since then, just sort of been sort of travelling all over, touring not so relentlessly recently, but for a period was very, very relentless. And throughout that time, compiled like a bunch of mix albums for the likes of Global Underground, Renaissance, more recently Balance, although that was about 10 years ago. And producing as well. So I've been producing since the mid-90s, sort of 94, 95. And remixing, but predominantly production. And then more recently I've had like EPs on Celador, also Bedrock, most recently Records, and also had a recent EP with Matt Masters from Free Range, and that came out on Lazy Days. So that's kind of it, really. I mean, sort of sum it all up.
So you've been keeping busy. I guess
I try to keep busy. Yeah, I don't like being too busy. I like sort of having breaks, and I like being able to sort of recharge quite frequently. I don't like being away from home for too long. So, but yeah, definitely keeping busy, and not, very surprisingly, considering I don't really push myself or, try and to constantly sort of try and get work in. So yeah, I'm very happy.
I don't think it's a surprise. I can definitely attest, like your reputation precedes you as like the DJ's DJ, and you're a phenomenal selector, and I think your career over the past 3 decades like speaks to that. And something I think is really special about you as an artist is that you are not really limiting yourself in terms of sound. Like, it's very obvious to me. I've listened obviously quite a few of your mixes online. I've also seen you DJ live when we met in the Celador party last year in 80, which was really nice. And I think that really stands out, that you're the type of artist and selector that is like bringing you're kind of curating like the energy through your DJ mixes, and you're kind of selecting different stuff. So yeah, it's definitely really special for us to have you here today.
That's really kind, thank you.
You're just fresh back off a tour in Australia, New Zealand. Just wanted to ask you a bit how that was for you.
Yeah, it was amazing actually. So I went to, like I say, Australia, New Zealand. I started off in Auckland, and then had 6 gigs in Australia. 2 of those with Anthony Papa. And it was my first time touring there properly on my own since 2017. So I was a bit anxious really. I wasn't really sure how it would go, because sort of the scene changes so quickly, and things sort of, if you stay away from somewhere, not deliberately, but if you don't go somewhere for a certain amount of time, you kind of you're not sure how things are going to pan out. But it was incredible. Like, all the gigs were really, really busy. The energy was incredible. Real nice mix of sort of like people my kind of age or younger, and going down to like sort of in their 20s and that sort of thing. Real nice age range. Just really, really good, proper old school energy, and at each gig. And so I was so happy. It was flawless. I was just really kind of like wasn't sure what to expect, but I was definitely blown away by it. And I won't be leaving it. How many years? 8 years? Go back?
You'll be back. You'll be back soon.
Touch wood.
Any cities in Australia that really stood out to you, or like clubs? Like, was there one where you were like, "Wow, this place is amazing"? Or it was all really special?
To be honest, they were all really special. There wasn't anything that really stood out. I mean, if I got to pick one, I probably would say it's pretty tough. I don't want to sort of single anyone out, but I think if I got a single one out, I think the energy. I did 2 gigs in Sydney actually. So I started off in Auckland on the Friday. Then on the Saturday I had 2 gigs in Sydney at Chinese Laundry. So in the afternoon I played in the downstairs in the main club. And then I went back in the evening and played in the sort of more of like a side room, like a room 2. The daytime gig was just, the energy in there was just, I had a grin on my face all the time.
Wow.
It was just like, one of those gigs where you're just constantly smiling, and you just, it was just unbelievable. But saying that, I mean, it was so minimal. The gig in Perth was amazing. Canberra, Melbourne, I loved. It was like it was on a stage, but it was a real proper underground, filthy vibe, like just really proper like energy in there. So yeah, I mean, the whole thing was great. I mean, the only problem with going over there is obviously the hit your body takes.
It's far.
Physically, it does
really far.
kill you.
Yeah, I mean, that's a nice segue into talking to you a little bit. I just wanted to ask you, because obviously you've had like such a big career over a really long time, and you had a period when you were touring very, very busily. And obviously I didn't know you that well, but you seem like quite a calm person. Or, I wanted to ask you, like, how do you find the kind of DJ lifestyle and finding your balance with that, and has that changed over the years? Did like, I guess when you were younger, I don't know if you partied more, but you said you take kind of breaks and times away and you listen to your body, I guess. But yeah, what's your approach to being on tour and finding balance?
Yeah, I think the fact that I don't do it relentlessly, and like for example, I think this year was definitely a lot busier than I was expecting it to be, and I had like a couple of really long tours in there as well. Like I did a South America tour, which was like 5 weeks. I think I was away from home for 6 weeks, but then I got home, and then you have a few weekends off. And I think, I think when I did tour relentlessly, it was definitely quite a long time ago now. But I just got to a stage with it where it was never really. I didn't feel on top of my music, and I think that was the thing. And I think. I just find like I'm much more refreshed and much more enthusiastic about everything when I'm sort of like I've got that balance. And I think having the balance with between sort of I get back from like now I've got like apart from this today I've now got like 2 weekends off, which means I can sort of just get on top of stuff. I'm a bit like I don't like things piling up, and it can be anything. It can be like I haven't gone through this week's tunes, or I've got like certain bits of paperwork that needs sorting out. I can't stand it when things pile up, and I do get quite stressed. I mean, I've got maybe do seem calmish, but I do get stressed very, very easily, and I have to be on top of everything.
It's a challenge of the lifestyle, isn't it? That's why I just love asking guests and also like artists like yourself who have had such an amazing career so far to give your wisdom on these sort of things, because I think it's really interesting for people to hear about the like kind of the depth of this career, not only just the music as well, and just to also signpost our guests. We're obviously only having a short chat today, and then we're going to get into some music. But Danny has also done a couple of really cool features. You've just done a brand new like an editorial feature with Electronic Groove, I think, right?
That's correct, yeah.
Not like I was stalking you beforehand. I know the guys at Electronic Groove anyway, but I was having a little read of that, and that was like super interesting. I think in there you were talking about the work you do with, what was it, animal shelters? Or was it there or a different interview? But you're doing some work on that as well. That's maybe something that's like aside from your music, but yeah, you're obviously very driven.
So that ties in with what you were talking about before about having that balance, and I think for the last few years I've had that because I've got I help locally with like a volunteer group, so it's very, very basic, but it's a lot of the time it's just transporting sick and injured birds around London, so usually around sort of southwest London where I live, but I find that I do really enjoy doing that. It's sometimes that can be quite stressful and quite physically draining as well. Yesterday I think I've spent most of the day out on the push bike collecting birds and helping with trap birds, and ended up at one point on top of Battersea Power Station with a lost parrot that ended up there, and just very random things, but it's also some very, very funny scenarios, and you end up in some sort of situations where that are quite surreal. You find yourself in rivers, and you find yourself like on rooftops, and mum's not listening because some of them seem quite dangerous, but it's nice. But it's just that alternative to what I'm doing, like when I'm out traveling and stuff. And also as well, I think I did say in that interview that I can combine the two. I've always got all my new tunes on my phone.
Yeah.
So when I'm out on the bike cycling, I'm always still listening to the new tunes, and also as well doing that, I find as well you're listening to tracks blind. You're not listening to a new track and thinking, oh, this is the new track on Free Range or whatever. You're actually
just listening for the groove and what's grabbing you, and
you're going completely by ear. I put them on shuffle. I get like a stack of new tunes, and you put them on shuffle. Go out on the push bike and do my bits and bobs with my pigeons and crows and stuff like that. And I find it's a great way of auditioning tracks and finding things, that you maybe might have glossed over. You have these sort of preconceived ideas about certain tracks, where you think that's going to sound like that, that's going to sound like that. And I think listening to them blind, I think can really be great sometimes.
No, definitely, and it's just so interesting to like understand what artists are doing in their free time when they're not in the club and when they're not organizing the record box. Of like these are the things that are sort of inspiring you and are giving you those signals that then you bring that to the club, you bring that energy to the dance floor. So it's really nice to hear that you're sort of kind of giving back and taking care of these animals and stuff. I want to ask you a little bit about your production process, because obviously you're producing a lot and you've had some amazing records out this year. I was listening. I love the stuff on Rekids. Really, really cool. Love the acidy bass lines. And yeah, I mean, you have quite a diverse sound as a selector, also as a producer. It's definitely not in one box. I think, and the Rekids stuff, it's a little bit different, maybe a little bit more upbeat, maybe than some of your other music. But you got into production, you said, sort of in the 90s. And I guess your process has probably evolved as things have changed. It's been, or not. I don't know. I don't know. It's sort of before my time.
Well, I mean, I work with a studio partner called Jay, and he's over in Kennington. But I do all my sort of demos at home. But the actual process is different every single time. I mean, sometimes it could just be. I mean, sometimes I can just hear. Yeah, it could be like, with example, the track on Records. It's like one of the tracks on there, I just heard the bass line when I was just doing washing up and doing hoovering and stuff, and I just thought, try and get that, and built the track around that. Other times it can be a sample, or you can have you can just stumble across a pad. The starting block for each track is I've found is always different. I've always felt that if you sort of, for me personally, if I go in and think, okay, I want to try and do a track with this kind of energy, I want to try and do something that's sort of more deep house, or I want to try and do something that's a kind of a bit more peak time, it will come out sounding the complete opposite of that. So it's just, for me, I think it's just, I don't have any sort of go-to synths or anything like that. I mean, all my demo work is literally on a laptop, and I've got the oldest laptop. It's 13, 14 years old, and I think the version of Logic I'm using is obsolete. Logic 9 or something like that. So it's just all, I'm scrambling around. I might hear, it could just be anything. It's something that will inspire that particular track. And like I say, I work at home and I get my demos to a certain point. I have to get them. I can't take them too far, because I find the problem I've got is that I overload, and I just keep adding and adding and adding. So I get my demos to a point where I think I would dance to that. Yeah. And then that's the stage when I go in with Jay, and then we'll take it from there. And the area where I don't really feel strong is, or I get bored. I get bored with arranging. So we arrange together. And also as well, like, he's very, very honest with me. He'll say, look, I think you should lose that, and this isn't working. And so he might take 2 or 3 elements out, which then makes the groove even better. But I think my process, the only thing that's constant is just getting to a stage where I feel the groove is right. Yeah. And when I feel that all the elements are there, then I like to cut off from it, because I'll just keep adding and I'll ruin it.
I can completely relate to what you're saying with that one. And I mean, I think making music for the dance floor is quite, it's an artistic thing, but it can also be quite scientific, because you kind of need to make tracks that are working for the dance floor. So it's definitely like an exact science. But yeah, your music always has a lot of groove to the heart of it, for sure. And it's very, like, really comes out of the tracks. And yeah, lastly, before we get into some tunes, you've got a lot coming up the rest of this year as well. You're off to, is it Asia? You coming?
Yeah, so I'm going to be, I haven't been again. I haven't been since probably 2019. So I'm going to be going to, I think, Tokyo, Singapore, possibly one more gig. But I'm really looking forward to that. There will be another longish South America tour coming up, which I think is going to be from October to November. I'm going to see you at Balance Festival in Croatia, which is going to be absolutely insane.
You're playing a few sets on Balance, right? Or I think not just one, but a few points.
What's that, sorry?
Are you playing a few different sets across the festival? Or?
Yeah, so I think it's going to be a boat party on the Sunday for Sudbeat with Graziano. And then, the what's the party I'm doing? The Skyline party on
Oh,
the.
yeah.
Sorry,
Yeah.
Graham will kill me for
So many.
for hesitating
There's
on
so
that
many
one.
different stages. It's definitely going to be really special.
It's
You
going
can
to be
tell the
amazing. It's going to be
weekend.
so much fun. I've met people. I met a bunch of people in Australia that are coming over. So I think the carbon footprint of Balance Festival is going to be pretty
To plant
pretty
some-
dodgy.
Plant some trees as well.
People are
while we're
flying
there.
all over.
And you said you're up to Skyline in Scotland again as well. Is that right? Or
Yeah. So that's, I can't remember when it is. Is it in August? Beginning of August?
Guys, check his resident advisor.
I think it is
Follow
the
up
beginning
on
of August. I'm
Yeah.
seeing Dave. Dave 2 weeks in a row because we're playing together at Latitude, which is the last weekend of July. And we do that every year with Darren Emerson, the three of us.
Oh, super nice.
And
yeah.
the week after that will be the next Skyline for the Celador night.
Very, very cool.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much for joining us today. It's a big honor to have you here. And I know everyone at the studio is a really big fan of your music as well. And yeah, anybody who doesn't know Danny Howells, I don't know, you've been living under a rock, but check him out. He's got these several new EPs that have all come out very recently. Really, really cool stuff. The Celador one was also fairly recent, I think, right?
Lazy Days.
Yeah, Lazy Days one and
Bedrock was
3
the end of
track
last year.
on records as well. And now we're
Go and buy
going to
'em.
jump into some music. Yeah, buy them, get them. Right, thanks for joining us, Danny. And get locked for the next hour, guys.
Thank you for having me as well.
Loop, 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 loop. London, 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 London.
about music. I discovered the whole world of jazz. That was it. I'm passionately involved, and that's never changed. I am more passionate now about music. I think I'm better equipped to express the passion, the passion, the passion, the passion, the passion.
Wake up, wake up.
So I've been live in the studio with amazing guest Danny Howells the past hour. Thanks so much for being here.
Thank you for having me. Really, really nice to be here.
And yeah, if you don't know him, go check out his new tracks that have just come out recently. And yeah, I've been Redfreya. You can find me also SoundCloud, Instagram, etc. And yeah, good luck with all the South America and Asia tours coming up.
Bless you. Thank you.
And yeah, enjoy your day, guys. Thanks for listening.
Bye.
This is